go back to our submarine, leave our rover where it is, and go up. Shed some light on the well deck. There should be nothing above me right now. There's a crab right there. Hello, little fella. Yeah, let's stay here for a bit with the submarine and give ourselves a little more light. We should be... There we go. Right, let's see what it looks like now. There we go. That's better. Although it's still very spooky. So yeah, this is... Oh, hang on. Can we actually go in here as well? Oh, this is brilliant. Ah, this is so cool. If there is actually... Hang on, there we go. If there is actually a part of the ship that's been modelled in here, that's going to be very cool. So, to give you guys an idea, all of this down here, well, you know, not all the way down here, but underneath here, that open area, was all third-class space, just, you know, hanging out. There were benches down there. It was sort of... There were no quarters there, but just, you know, that deck at least. It was just a meeting place to sit around, hang about. But this bit right here would have been for crew. Let's go and have a look at what's in here. Somewhere, one of these doors would lead up to the crow's nest. I suppose it's going to be closed, but one of them would lead up to the through the mast, because the mast was actually hollow. I've heard people say, like, you know, how do you get up to the crow's nest? There was no ladder on the outside. Well, it was hollow. The mast was hollow, and there was a ladder inside the small door leading out to the crow's nest. So this is number 1 hatchway, which is in the forecast of the ship. And look, there's another open door right there. Well, that's quite nice that they modelled this part of the ship. I am a little bit disappointed that we can't go further forward, because there are a lot of crew spaces in there, including the spiral staircase leading down to the fireman's alley, which leads to the boiler rooms, which would have been quite cool to explore. But I mean, it's cool that they even did this little part. There is the mast. So these doors right here, this is where the staircase on the inside would have ended up. You could see that it was, you know, that the doors were closed. Absolutely brilliant. This is gorgeous. You can see our shadow. This is such a cool game. And it's brilliant for me to be able to combine my interest for Titanic with my interest in video games. As I've said many times before, this isn't really a game or a history channel. I am primarily a gaming channel, but if I'm capable of sort of combining the two, that's absolutely brilliant. Let's rotate our spotlight a little bit. There we go, and aim it up. There we are. Just a tiny bit that way. And let's try and get a little bit closer. I am well aware that we have moved past the area of the ship that we were, you know, that we set out to explore, but I'm having a blast. I don't want to stop playing this game now. This is probably going to be multiple episodes instead of just a single episode that I was, you know, a standalone part. That I meant it to be meant for it to be first. So this right here is the crow's nest on the mast, which is, oh god, the way that just disappears to the darkness. That's scary. So yeah, this is what I was talking about. This is the little door that was inside the mast. It wasn't very big. You know, it was quite crammed, but that's how you got up the mast. These are the large electric cargo cranes that were capable of hoisting up cargo from outside ship, on the docks, down into the hold. Oh, this is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Although, I think I just spotted a... Is that a mistake in the model? I'm not sure. I'm going to have to check this, but I think that should not have been a ladder, but a set of stairs. A ladder-ish set of stairs. It's very simple. Just going down here towards the deck. But I'm not quite sure. It may have been a ladder. I'm going to look up whether I'm correct on that. It's just a detail. Look at this. This is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. There we have it. Sedna, our submarine is called, apparently. Right, let's go back to our submarine. Let's retrieve our rover. Hang on. Come on, press the button. Go on. I should be able to press. There we go. That's quite a handy button. It recalls the rover from wherever you are. So even if it's, on the far end of the ship, that's a way to get it back. Or you can just go around exploring in your submarine. This is brilliant. Wow. Is that a part of the... Oh, that's really cool. That's cool. I didn't know that this part was still standing. This is, the bit with the square cut into it. That is what remains of the bridge wing. Titanic had, little... They look like little guardhouses on either side of the bridge, protruding slightly from the side of the ship, meant for the captain or officers on duty to be able to look at the outside of the ship. If you're standing over the side of the ship, if it's protruding out of the ship, then you can actually look at your own hull, which could be quite, useful in a variety of situations, not least in docking or coming alongside another ship. Absolutely gorgeous. I think I'm going to cut it here. We've explored the front part of the ship now. I think we've seen all there is to see in here. Hang on, let's go down. Let's make sure we didn't miss anything on the forecastle. It's right here. There we are. So this is the well deck where we just were, with cargo hatches 2 and 3 from right to left. This is the mast, which was, it was just bent completely aft, completely backwards as the ship was moving through the water towards the bottom. The sheer amount of hydrodynamic pressure of a ship going 30 knots, basically 30 miles an hour through water is absolutely insane. Trying to move an object through water. You can't even open a car door, barely, underwater. Just because of how difficult it is to move all that water out of the way. Let's aim our... Perhaps we'll just have a little exploration down here. Absolutely gorgeous. I keep repeating it, but this is such a brilliant experience. If any of you have a VR headset, I believe some of them are quite cheap now, relatively speaking. I believe you can get VR headsets for several €100 or dollars right now. Just, if you're a fan of Titanic and you have access to a VR headset, the game is not very expensive. I believe it's €20 or so. And I mean, this is so brilliant. I mean, I know it's a bit of a cliche to say with VR, but it's like you're really there, and that's exactly what it is. And being able to see all of this up close. I know it's not real. I know it's just a model made based on photos and videos we have, but still, so brilliant. You get a very good idea of the size of certain parts. I mean, these chains, the anchor, the scale is, the scale, uh, the sense of scale you get from looking through the eyes of the rover is, if I had been a person, I would be standing at about, this would be eye level, right? So, just looking around, seeing all this massive machinery, and having a look at these chains. I mean, one of these links, just from here to here, the floor is bugging out, from there to there, that's like an arm, that's like my lower arm, the length of my lower arm. That's impressive. You get a very good sense of the scale of all the machinery on board. And there is cargo hatch number 1, which we mentioned in the first VR video we did. The cover of that was blown off as she hit the seabed. I did a very poor job of explaining how that worked. I think I should explain again. The hull was filled with water, and water doesn't compress. That's one of the things about water. You can't compress it. If you have an empty bottle of a plastic bottle, completely empty, filled with air, and you screw on the cap, you can just squeeze it and you can deform it. Air can be compressed relatively easily. But if you fill that same bottle with water, so that it's completely full, then screw on the cap, you can no longer compress it. You can press all you want, but you can't compress it because water can't be compressed. But that's the easy explanation. And because of that, when the bow section hit the bottom of the sea, she crumpled on the. She gave in. She was sort of deformed. Her internal volume shrank because the underside was pushed up, and all that water inside, because it couldn't be compressed, wanted out, and that's what happened. The entire cover was blown off, and it's lying several hundred meters, I believe, in front of the wreck, which is insane. Again, insane because as I said, moving an object through water takes a lot of force, and for that entire cover, which is not aerodynamic at all or hydrodynamic, would have taken a lot of force. Well, I think I've been talking for long enough now. I genuinely hope that you guys have enjoyed this little expedition. I can only call it an expedition. That's what it feels like. This has been a very cool experience for me as well, being able to explore the wreck like this. I can't wait to do more of these exploration videos. I know the grand staircase is there, it's quite detailed, so we're definitely doing that. You can go up to the breakup point of the ship, which is very scary. It's probably the scariest part of the ship. And that's only the bow section. There's also the stern section, and there is the experience of experiencing the sinking. So there is lots and lots of stuff still to explore in this game. So I can't wait to do more of this. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see you next time. If you have any suggestions for parts of the ship that you want to see, or things that you want me to do in this game, please let me know, because I'm really excited to play more of this game, and I'm really willing to take some cues from you guys. Right, so thank you so much, and I hope to see you next time.